Yeah, trust. They use our trust. They're just
total
they
lacking
manipulate.
Cryptic thinkers, that's a good one. Total lacking in empathy. Everybody's making great comments. Val, if you ever get a chance to go back and read the comments and after the show, I think you'll enjoy it. They invalidate us all the time. They do not want us to be validated.
No. They can control us through the fact that they make you so weak as well. You just can't be able to fight after a while. And it's hard because what they also do is they'll smear you to, you know, they'll talk about you to your family, and you in the end feel like you're just on this planet on your own, because especially if you kind of fall out with them or they discard you. I mean, there's another thing. Once they've discarded you, they'll build you up. They'll tell you the most fantastic person in the world. And then once they've had enough or they've found someone else, that's it. You're discarded. And that's the worst part, is finding out afterwards that you never meant. I think that's what gets to most people. It can make most people literally go under. I fell down that black hole once I realized that all that was a lie. I built my life. My future was built around this person, and I didn't mean anything to them. And that's what people can't actually deal with, I think, is the fact that the whole life that you've led with this person, even if it's 7 months, because I had 7 months, it's just the hardest thing to deal with.
Like a joke, yeah.
You've got to go no contact, because also they'll hoover you back. So what they do after a while, they'll leave you alone for a little while till you kind of like, you know, and then after a while they'll think, right, hoover you right back again. And that's where you just know you've got to educate yourself, knowing that these people are broken, knowing that they're doing these things, and knowing that it's not your fault, because we all take it on ourselves. We all actually blame ourselves for everything, because you've been devalued, because you've been told everything's your fault. You actually believe it. You've got to build yourself back up again. And if they send you a text, hi, how are you, after about 6 months, don't get excited, because it's not a text where they're actually thinking of you. They just want
real.
to be in. And you start having a conversation with them. They start having an argument with you. It's ping pong. Then you get the ping pong, you know, you write back, you try and fix them. They demoralize. Before you know it, you're back to square one again. And you just have to just literally go no contact, because you're in a lose-lose situation. The smear campaign afterwards, they will literally make you out to be the crazy one. It's like, to me, it's like they're trying to wipe the slate. They're trying to wipe the slate clean. They're trying to wipe away everything by saying, oh, she's crazy, don't listen to, she's crazy. They've done all these things to you, and then all of a sudden you're the crazy one. You're mentally ill. You've got all these different, you know. It's the worst thing, having all that said to you afterwards, and you know you're not the crazy one. And then you try and respond to being told that you're crazy. That response is then going, you look at her, she's crazy, and you can't, you lose. That's
because the narcissist is all about winning at all cost. They do not care. It's win. I think we talked the other day about that movie, The Holiday, with Cameron Diaz and all that. I think the perfect example of a narcissist, which by the way was in England, in Surrey, which was such a cute town. I love that movie. You know, but she tried to gas herself now, because she was in love with one of her co-workers, who all he ever did was narcissistically use her, sex, whatever. And then every time he wanted her, he would tell her wonderful things and then drop her to the side like she was nothing. Yeah. And I mean, at the end, she was like, we're a square peg in a round hole. She finally stood up for herself. Yeah.
It takes a while.
Yeah.
I think you've got to hit rock bottom. You've got to hit the lowest before you get back up again, really. They just take your worth away, so that you actually feel that you're not. They'll tell you that nobody else will want you, nobody else will love you. I'm the only one that love you, you know. And they'll devalue you to the point where you're just about to leave. It's like fishing. Talking of fishing, I like fishing. They'll kind of reel you in and then let you go, and then reel you back and let you go. And they'll be nice. They'll devalue. They'll value. They'll devalue. And the cognitive dissonance basically is where your brain just doesn't know what is going on, because what's in front of you is one thing, but what's in your head is something else. It's the worst feeling. And they'll give you that little crumb occasionally. They'll treat you like a piece of dirt, and then they'll just do something so special, and they'll give you that hug, and they'll give you that false smile, and you think your heart melts, because you go, oh, you're always trying to get back the person that you first started to date. You always think, oh, I can fix him. If I just wait, he'll be the person he was when we first started dating. No, he won't, because that's a fake person. It's easy to put a fake, fake persona on. And that's what they do.
He'll never, Dwayne, you're right. It erodes your reality, that cognitive dissonance. Because, if he was just mean all the time, you would catch on. But because of that play back and forth of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, you keep thinking, oh, he's just having a bad day. Or we make a lot of excuses.
Yeah. And we don't have boundaries neither, I think, as well. You need to get your boundaries and start saying no more, because they test you. I think when you first start dating somebody, they'll do little tests on you just to see how far you're willing to, they can push you. And then when they get to a boundary, they'll sort of they'll slacken off a bit, but then push it a bit more and push it. You need to put your foot down and just value yourself a little bit more, and just think, if someone's treating you bad, just think, do you know what? I'm worth so much more than this. And I think this is what they do. They take away your worth. So they've got you because you don't think you deserve anybody else. And they just destroy you from the inside out. You go down the rabbit hole, as they call it. You literally, it's, but it is hard to explain narcissism to people. You try and explain it to your family and friends. You can't, because they'll just not understand it. Even trying to do narcissist, I think that's why narcissist awareness is so bad and so hard to do, because it's one of those things that you only really know what it is when you've gone through it. But we don't want people to go through it. Catch-22. Yeah.
Judith's right. They absolutely take away your worth. They devalue you. They take away your worth.
Yeah.
But we let them. And it's because of love. The key word is we know how to love. And our love is genuine. And we put our whole heart into it. And therefore, our heart is vulnerable to destruction.
Exactly. No, I'm just again looking down here.
Well, this is one way that you're able to recover, is having your show, to be able to speak about it. We need that processing time in our lives to process this. We've been through a lot, when we go through this, and it takes a while to heal, I guess. So what else do you see in your notes? I'm looking at mine too.
Well, I've just thought of something that someone asked a question once. I think it was a comment, and it said something like, would you prefer never to have gone through narcissism, or never to have met the narcissist and be where you are today? Or are you glad that you met a narcissist? If you can understand what I'm trying to say, the question is like, and I actually answered it, no, I'm glad in a way I met the narcissist, because I'm a different person today. I have more patience. I am more empathic, because I understand empathy a lot more with educating. My future to me now is a little bit brighter, because I know that the monsters exist. I know how to look out for them. I know if I do find one, I know that it's nothing to do with me. I'm not saying I'm perfect, because, this is the thing, we always think it was. And yes, even if it is me, I know the best thing to do is, if it's a toxic relationship, leave it. I've got the strength. And I just think there is something about at least going through it, getting the strength back and educating yourself on it. You're a better person in the end, and you're armed for your future, which is why I think YouTube and the community that we're in is fantastic for people to educate themselves. There's nothing else that you're going to get through narcissism. But education is the only thing that's going to help you. It's a way of thinking. You can't change them. You will never fix a narcissist. You will never change them. You will never get them to understand your pain. You'll never understand nothing. You just need to understand what's going on in your head, and you just need to start thinking a different way and work and move forward like that.
Yeah, know yourself, everybody.
Yeah.
You got to just know
yourself. Yeah.
And I think with the internet, and I think with them even Googling and the social media, and I think that they've had way more victims than it used to be. I think that they are way more intelligent on the ins and outs. It's getting more and more sly, Val. It is, because, once in a while I still can get deceived. I still, and I thought I couldn't anymore. And I'm like, oh, the minute I think I can't, I better just pack up and leave, because you can. Because there's all types that are out there, and you really have to know the flags. You have to know the textbook answers. I mean,
well,
one of the things, go ahead, Val, you go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think it's delay. There's lots of different types of narcissists as well. There's somatic narcissists, there's cerebral narcissists, you know. I mean, they don't just kind of stop from one to the next. They all do blend into each other. So you can get an overt with covert tendencies and vice versa. But I dated a somatic narcissist, and that's someone who uses sex, basically. I mean, obviously porn is a big thing in narcissists' lives. And I think with my ex, who was a somatic narcissist, he pretended to me that I was the only person that he was seeing. We weren't a really, kind of like a really in relationship. We were just, nothing special because he lived away. But he had about 5 or 6 different people on the go. And what it is, if you're just addicted to sex, which is what, a sex addict is, you'll go to these places and you'll just have sex and you'll know what each other's doing and you'll all be in the same position. But I think with a somatic is they want the control of people out. They want to pretend that they're not that, they haven't got that lifestyle. They hide that lifestyle that they've got, and they'll bring someone else into it and they'll control that person through sex. They like the fact that they have a chase on. They'll chase someone. And this is what he did with this other girl that my ex was seeing. He chased her until he got her. And when he got her, he then contacted me and hoovered me back. He was seeing like 3 people at the same time. He was doing all sorts of disgusting things, and I won't go into what he was doing, but they are sickos. And the thing is with that, the decision of whether you want to be with someone like that is taken away because they hide it. If they came up front and said, right, this is me. I have these sex on the site. I've got this site. I've got this site. I'm dating all these people over here. I'm dating her. I'm dating him. I'm dating them. You could make a decision, but what these people do is they put a mask and a complete fake front, and your decision of your life and your future is based on what they're showing you, not on what's actually going on. So when you find the truth, you feel disgusted with yourself that you actually let this person into your life.
Well, and I thank you for explaining. Yeah, no, I thank you for explaining it that way. I mean, this is real vulnerable for you to even open up and say this, Val. I know that the 2 hardest things on a marriage or a relationship is money and sex. Yeah. And I know that there are people that have had affairs because of it, but we're talking about something totally different than your wife or your husband completely denying you from sex for years and you end up having an affair and kind of feeling bad about it. We're talking about somebody who loves this, who loves the, I don't even know how you would put it. It's just, unfortunately, they're sick human beings, They're
out for themselves. And that's it. That's the base of it. And I think narcissists come in many, I mean, obviously there's different types of narcissists. There's kind of a scale of narcissism. And I think you find that, and I think with narcissism as well, you've got to have obviously 5 or more traits. But I think the main trait that makes the narcissist is the lack of empathy. The ego, the competent, all the different traits are fine, but I just think the fact is the lack of empathy is the main one. You can be a narcissist, but if you've got empathy, you kind of at least a little bit human. But I just think if you're a narcissist with no empathy, everything else follows. You're just basically screwed. They are, and we are.
They're not human anymore. I think Dwayne said something earlier about, they suck your soul. They soul rape, an emotional soul rape. Why would they do that? If what? Damn it! If you got your own soul, what do you need mine for?
Yeah. Well, I don't think they do. That's the thing. They
don't.
They take away your identity and they'll replace it with one that they want to control. You're like a zombie in the end. This is the thing. We end up turning into zombies. And I just I've got a support group on Facebook and the comments, and it's just so hard listening to people and seeing the pain that's in people when they're trying to kind of like work out what's going on and what's happened. And it takes a hell of a long time to heal from narcissist abuse. When people say to you, oh, just get over it.
Yeah.
You want to punch them. You want to just punch them straight in the mouth.
I want to do this.
Exactly.
Or something else which I won't show, which has to do with a bird.
When I had relationships in the past, and when they've broken up, I think the only thing that kind of keeps you going is thinking, well, do you know what? He did love me. You may not like each other now, you may have fallen out of love, but the only thing that keeps you going is the fact that you think, well, he did love me once, and that doesn't seem so bad. But when you've gone back and thought, wow, this person never loved me, that is something that we who love and who've got empathy cannot get our heads round, that we were never loved. But it's not our fault that we weren't loved, and that's the trouble. We take it on ourselves. We think it must be something wrong with us. The problem's with them. They can't love, and we shouldn't actually think that it's anything to do with us. You know, we're not perfect.
No, but unfortunately we do, because, you know, when you love somebody so much, it's just, it's a shock.
Yeah.
You know, and in their own sick way, that is their only love language, because they want you, they want control, and literally they don't yell and control somebody else, because in their own sick, perverted way, they don't know how to love, but that is love for them, because they just love the game. You know, but yeah, I agree with you, Val. It's so many things when you talk, girl. I'm telling you, so many thoughts go through my mind, and so many examples, and you know, and then we get mad at ourselves. Even I have, like I got mad at me. Like, why didn't you see this? Why didn't you? You know,
it's because we didn't know they existed. We don't know that these people actually exist. We project ourselves onto everybody because we're kind and we're nice and we do things for people. We expect them to be the same. We realize that once you've been through a narcissist relationship, you realize that doesn't happen, that they project themselves onto us and we project ourselves. It's just a match made in hell, to be honest. You know, we just think everybody out there is nice. We don't know that narcissists exist. And when we find out that they do, it's too late, because we've been there and got the heartache.
Probably why we're the perfect victim for them.
Yeah.
No more though. And you know, so how are you know, it, like, let's go back to what you were saying earlier. It takes time for people to recover.
Yeah.
And I know that family, friends, whatever, they might go, oh yeah, we don't, you know, why aren't you over it? Just get over it, all this type of stuff. But because we are truly empathic and deep feeling, it takes a while. Excuse me. Excuse me. The air conditioning just came on and I just breathed. I don't know what it was. Piece of dust.
I'll get the Hamlet maneuver from here.
Or whatever. It started raining today, so there's different atmosphere in here. But anyways, you know, so the healing process. I mean, talk about how you're healing, or how can people heal from this?
I've healed basically in front of the world. That's the thing about me. You go back over my videos, and I mean, I've done some stupid things. I've said some stupid things. It's just absolutely crazy where, you know, I've healed in front of everybody, and healing with me has been talking about it. And when I started, the reason I've done my channel the way it is, where I wanted to talk about personal things and insights, it's more just what's helped me is because when I first started Googling YouTube, because you put in toxic relate, why is my husband being like this? Why is my husband toxic? Why is my husband cheating? And you'll end up coming up with toxic narcissism, and that's how you find it. But I wanted to kind of create a channel where people could relate. There's a lot of channels, obviously, that give you the information on the gaslighting, the PTSD, the CPTSD, and STD, and NPD, and TCP, and you name it, right? Okay. But I just wanted to do a channel where I could just kind of be friends. And I think that's what you need. You need to find a friend who's been through it. You need to have a coffee with your friend who's been through it, and whether it's on YouTube and you can't necessarily have a coffee because you're on the other side of the world. You need to find somebody. Don't go telling, I mean, this is the thing, we make the mistake of telling all our friends straight away, he's a narcissist, he's done this, he's crazy. And before you know it, they're like looking at you with a side glance thinking, whoa, she's off her rocker, especially when the smear campaign's going on. You need to find help somewhere else. You need to find yourself a decent coach or a decent psychotherapist, counsellors. They're another thing. A lot of counsellors don't know anything about it. And I think you just need to find somebody, go into support groups, find people that have been through it. Try not to explain to anybody who hasn't been through it. I can remember a counsellor that I went to. God, don't I talk a lot? I went to a counsellor. I've started to relax now, have you noticed? Back to normal.
Yes, yeah, you are. Yeah. You know what? I'm getting a lot of feedback.
We're going to drop off air or something here.
Yeah, Laura said this stuff hits hard. Marilyn said that she's crying. She doesn't know why. She's you know, yeah, we're going, this is deep stuff. And folks, let me just remind you again, if you haven't subscribed to Val's Toxic Free channel, please do. They're very healing videos. And sometimes the best thing to do, hey, Jim, sometimes the best thing to do is to go through the human emotions of the rage, of the being pissed off, being, you know, all the stuff that you need, instead of everybody going, oh, suck it up, get over it, quit it, don't cry.
Do you know one way that actually does heal me sometimes is if I'm angry at something, I will actually do a video and I'll be very angry in the video, but they're the kind of videos that I won't put onto YouTube. But after I've made that video, I think, I'm not going to do that video anymore because I actually feel better. So I think what we need to do is, anybody watching, stick your iPad in front of you on a table and just rant. Let it out, get it out of your head, onto paper, onto video. You don't have to send it anywhere and put it anywhere. You don't have to mail it or whatever. Get it out of your head. And then as soon as you feel so much better. I've actually been like got to the place where I'm writing a text to somebody who I'm angry with. I'm writing. By the time I finish the text, I've actually calmed down. And you've got to wait till your emotions have kind of got past, because if you start making decisions whilst your emotions are full belt, you'll regret it. So you've really got to kind of write it all down and just think, oh, that makes me feel so much better, but don't ever send them, because that's the worst thing. Don't send a letter to a narcissist and try and explain to him how much it's hurt you, because that's what they want, feeds them. But that's what I've done. I'll make videos and I'll suddenly think, no, I actually feel all right now. I'm not going to send that. And I'll do it again, but calmer, because the first video I ranted out, you know. But yeah, guys, just do videos, but you don't have to put them on YouTube. Just make a diary. Look back at it in years to come, and you can see how much you've improved and you've built up and got better.
Val, this is amazing. This is healing. This is empowering. I'm listening to the comments. You know, it's hitting people. It's hitting them hard, deep, but it's giving them some answers, some help. Yeah. And I agree with you 100%. There's been many times where I was going to send an email, you know, months after, you know, going, you know, in the process of divorce and all this stuff, just to try to stick it to them with some words finally that I'm broken free. And then I would write it, and then I wouldn't hit the send button, but I would feel a lot better, you know, because I'm like, I'm not going to lower myself, you know, I don't, you know, degrade, but at the same time, they pick people that are intelligent, that are beautiful.
You have to be proud
of these type of women, and then they devalue us, but yet they want it, because really they don't. They're very insecure, and they might be good at what they do, and they might be popular, and they might make a lot of money, but the fact of the matter is they're still jealous. But they want what you have. Yeah.
They are jealous of us. They are, because we've got something that they don't have, and they just want to spoil it. I mean, I think again with narcissists, and I think with my videos as well, hopefully, I'm so silly. People laugh. A lot of people say, you're so funny, Val. And I think if you're going to heal, at least heal with some comedy. That's how I see it. You know, laugh at me. Come and laugh at me. I'm not bothered. And I always say what narcissists do is, rather than like actually improve themselves, and I say, like, you know, climb the ladder, they'll just lower the floor. And that means to me, I'm weird, I know. And that just means rather than actually make an effort to improve themselves, they'll just put everybody else down. That makes them higher than everybody else. By putting them down, they feel higher. Don't put an effort in. Don't get a decent job. Don't get your money. Don't work hard at anything. All you have to do is just portray an image, put a fake mask on, be somebody who you want to be without putting the effort in. And that's how you get through life. No, we are our true selves. And they manipulate that.
Right. But, you know, when the destruction has happened, and depending on how long you've been, obviously, Marilyn, if you're still grieving after 2 years, I don't know how long it takes. Everybody can be different. You know, like she said, find a good counselor, go through, you know, because we go through the, you know, the shock of finding out, then we go through, you know, then we're grieving, then we go to the anger, we're actually angry, and it's kind of like this wheel, and you got to get around it somehow. I'm not saying get over it, you know, like right now, but I'm just saying, you know, 2 years, that's a long time for a lot of emotions inside, and that's, you know, I'm sorry that you're still feeling that way, but Val, I you know, we're coming up on the hour, and I want you to add.
We're talk so much.
I know. Isn't this it's just amazing. I know we talked for an hour last night, and she's like, "We're really going to be doing this an hour?" Because yeah, your videos aren't always an hour, and I'm like, "Oh, it'll go by fast."
Part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. But no,
but you know, after the devastation, you got to pick up your pieces, and there's a lot of wounds. There's a lot of, you could have some health issues. You know, you could, people that have extreme allergies, ulcers, headaches, migraines. I mean, these are all symptoms of, sometimes symptoms of abuse. I'm not a doctor. So
it's the fight or flight mode. That's another thing I went through, is you start to hurt because basically your body is producing like adrenaline, and it's that adrenaline. So the fight and flight is like when you were in the olden days, you used to run away from the saber-toothed tigers and stuff. We don't have saber-toothed tigers anymore, so we're not running all that energy and all that adrenaline off. And if you're always high up, when you're always on the edge and you're always feeling stress and anxiety, your blood is being pumped all the time to the muscles to run, but we're not running. The pain and the neck ache and the stress and the headaches, and I have never felt so much pain in my body before when I went through the stress with a narcissist. It's because of the adrenaline and that fight or flight mode that the anxiety levels, the anxiety is so bad. So that's something else. You get symptoms from it. You can actually get fatigue from too much anxiety going on in your body. It's all these things. It's not only the mental side, it's the physical body side that you've got to kind of try and work on. But no, we have to do this again. And I'll tell you what, next time we do this again, we'll pick a theme and work on one. Because I know on this one, we've seemed to have gone back and forwards all over the place. It's because
people needed this.
You have so much to say, and there's so much in my head. My mouth can't keep up with my brain.
Yeah, people needed this, Val. Brilliant. The way you're explaining everything, it's really hitting home. And hopefully you all in the chat room have really enjoyed it. Val, I am so glad. Thank you so much for being on this show.
Thank you for making me feel calm, because I was really nervous before this.
Oh, yeah. That's what a lot of people say when they get nervous, and then they go, "Oh, you made me feel calm." Thank you very much. And you know what, folks? That's another thing, too. Surround yourself with people who will validate you. Not that you need an exorbitant amount of validation, but you do need some validation to be healed.
Yeah.
In order for healing to occur, you need something outside of yourself, because the inside, the chatter in your mind, the self-talk is not validating you. You actually do need some outside help and validation. So a good counselor, like Val said, or friends, and
I'll say one thing to my subs as well. Sub to Kath, because this is a great channel. It's got some great stuff on, and we're going to talk about ghosts and all sorts soon, because I love ghosts and UFOs.
Oh, that's right. We're going to talk about some ghost stories.
We'll have to do one once, because I've got some fantastic ghost stories. But yeah, so all my subscribers subscribe to this channel as well, and support her, because it's great. It's been lovely chatting to you. It really has.
Yeah, and they can pick and choose what programs they want to listen to. They might not agree with everything on all my programs or all my guests, but you know what?
Fine.
You're free to just pick and choose, obviously. And Val, I do want to bring you on, because yes, you have some amazing true ghost stories, and I want to hear that. I'm so glad about that too, because that's kind of fun to tell some of those stories too.
Definitely.
So, all right. Hang on, Val, because I'm going to go ahead and end this. It's been an hour. Thank you, folks, for being in the chat room. All of you, love and light to all of you, and get the healing you need. Surround yourself with the friends that you need, and don't take any, from anybody.
I filled the gap in.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the word. Hold on just a minute, Val. Thank you. We're going to... Bye, everybody.